So behind the title, Jyoti is just Jyoti, a passionate learner who loves stories, loves engaging in meaningful conversations, and reading out stories to children. So for that, parents themselves need to become the first role models for their kids. Today's scenario, there are more mobile phones than books in a house. Okay, now since we've been operating Readers Adda for over 7 years, we've seen a lot of development and growth in these children who've been coming to us. And the success story is that there are parents who are associated for over 6 years as well. What is the best way to, get your child to do something by doing it yourself?
A very good day to everyone and a very warm welcome to Learning Lounge where leaders share, our podcast where we invite guests from various fields who are leaders in their own mind. And today's guest is someone who's not just turning pages, she's turning young lives around, one book at a time. Please meet Jyoti Dora, founder of Readers Adda, a certified storyteller, NLP practitioner, transformation coach, and a passionate, okay, I'm going to redo this. Yeah. Meet Jyoti Dora, founder of Readers Adda, a certified storyteller, NLP practitioner, transformation coach, and a passionate advocate for cultivating the reading habit in children. With a solid background in HR and corporate stint at IDEA, PepsiCo, and ABN AMRO, Jyoti chose to follow her calling to bridge the widening gap between children and books. Since 2017, she's been on a mission to help kids disconnect from screens and reconnect with stories. Through Readers Adda, she's built a holistic ecosystem that empowers not just children, but also their parents in creating a reading-friendly environment even at home. Recognized by the World Talent Organization USA as the most inspiring human and celebrated as one of the India's top 100 women entrepreneurs, Jyoti's impact is as deep as the books she champions. Whether she's coaching, storytelling, or building communities, her vision is clear: to raise curious, empathetic, and well-rounded individuals through the power of reading. So please join me in welcoming with loud cheer somebody who falls in love with books, Jyoti Dora. Warm welcome, Jyoti.
Thank you so much, Shanti, for having me over.
Pleasure to have you, and I've enjoyed our previous conversations, and I'm sure this one is going to be a rocking one too.
Thank you.
So let's get to know you a little bit better, Jyoti. Who is Jyoti behind these roles, titles, awards?
Behind all the titles and awards, Jyoti is just Jyoti, a passionate learner who enjoys.
No worries.
So, behind the title, Jyoti is just Jyoti, a passionate learner who loves stories, loves engaging in meaningful conversations, and reading out stories to children.
Wonderful. So glad. What was Jyoti like when you were a child? Any early signs that you could now reflect on and say, you know what, it actually started back then?
Yeah, so if I have to go back to my childhood days, I was a thorough introvert, okay? But I do remember that I used to love enjoying the company of books. An instance that I would like to share over here is during my school days, we had this dance classes as well. So we had to separately pay for it if you wanted to enroll for it. So I'd always enroll for the dance classes and I'd be found reading books in the library. So I think those were one of the very early signs that this is where my life had to lead me.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Any other incidents that you can share that shaped you, the person you are today?
See, my mother used to read these Kannada magazines and novels those days. So whenever I'd go up to her, she would, translate it in Konkani and tell me the stories. So I think somewhere down the line, my love for reading, my love for books all started from there. And a great deal of character shaping also happened at that point in time, which has stayed throughout.
So beautiful. I'm sure our parents play such an important role in shaping who we are and I'm hoping we are doing equally well in shaping who our children
Exactly.
turn out to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
So let's go a little bit beyond childhood, Jyoti. Were there any defining moments in your youth that set you on this journey of reading?
See, apart from this, I also used to visit one of my aunts during all my vacations. Okay. And my uncle was Bengali. So they are quite known for their love for literature and all. So I used to take up all the books that he would have ordered for his daughters throughout the year. And that entire month of my vacation would go and reading out all those books that, were there at their place. So at that time, I did not know that I actually love books. I did not think about it that way, but it was something where I found pleasure.
So
So
resonate with that story, Jyoti. Even I remember my father would go to a bookstall nearby and he would buy his Jeffrey Archers and Sidney Sheldons. And I would sit and read all the small comics and stuff. He's taking 15 minutes. By then, let me finish my tinkle and get along.
yeah, yeah, right from Akbar Birbal to Tinkles to Nancy Drews.
Yeah.
Also, whenever we were to visit some place, and I remember going to the railway station, and there used to be these booths, book booths there. And every time we went, that meant that I would get two new comics from there. So dad never said no for it. Again, you spoke of youth. So I remember during my college days, I was caught reading Shakespeare during my economics lesson. Yeah. Yeah, at that point it was embarrassing, but now when I see, I look at the big picture, I can now connect the dots where it all fell.
Just
Yeah.
meant to be. How did your economics teacher, professor, react?
She asked me to go out of the class, and I was a little stubborn at that time, so I did not, but I kept standing at my place throughout the class. And then once the class was over, I went and I apologized to her. I said that Mama was so engrossed, I just could not leave that book because before her class, I was reading the book in the library and I got it along with me. But then I made it a point that whenever it was her class, like as I mentioned, I was a very shy, introvert kind of a child. So I never raised my hand to answer in the class or anything. But after that instance, I made it a point to raise my hand in every class of hers. Yeah, so that turnaround did happen.
Wonderful, wonderful. More power to you to, turn around. It's very easy to for a teacher to lose hope and trust on a child, but it takes so much from the child to regain back that trust. And kudos to you for having done that. Coming to your career, Jyoti, your career, I know, has been diverse and filled with varied experiences. For our listeners here, can you walk us through your career journey?
Yeah, so at the beginning of my career, I wasn't really sure of what I wanted to do. Once I completed my graduation, I went up to my dad and I was like, Daddy, what do I do next? And he said, You know it better. Believe me, at that point, I wouldn't have appreciated this reply of his. But today, when I look back, yes, he just allowed me to pave my own path, do the things that I wanted or I could do. And since I did not know what to do, I ended up doing a lot more than what I would have otherwise done,
Uh,
right? So I went ahead, I did my master's in human resource development, and I started working with various companies. Now, to be honest, as I mentioned, that I did not have a clear path as to what I wanted to do, so I basically picked whatever I came across. The only criteria was growth and challenge. I needed these things to keep me going. Okay. So I began my career with Modi Xerox, where I was into hardcore sales, selling photocopiers. Okay, back then.
I've seen
Post with
women in the sales space. So
yeah,
wonderful.
and this was way back in '99.
Mm.
Okay, post which I joined PepsiCo, and sorry, I joined Idea, and in Idea I was taking care of customer service at Surat. I got an opportunity to join PepsiCo at Ahmedabad, wherein I was to take care of entire customer service for Gujarat. So that was a larger profile, and it included both being in the office, conversing with retainers for the legal matters and all, as well as going on route rides, truck में बैठ के driver के साथ बैठ के आप पूरा market visit कर रहे हो, visiting the uh, shopkeepers and all. So that was a very enriching journey for me. And that was the time when I got married. And after a while, I moved back to Surat, again joined a company here into customer service. Post which I joined ABN AMRO Bank and I was taking care of their corporate division here. At that moment, my husband was promoted and transferred to a remote location, which was at Bhavnagar. And again, I said, you're going alone because at that time, both our careers were going steady and were on the growth path. So I did not want to make a compromise then. But after a couple of months, I felt one, being into a love marriage setup, and second, we had been apart for some time after marriage already. So I gave it a thought and I said, what's the point in, getting married and staying apart like this again and again? So then I decided that let me join him wherever he is. And from his side, it was very clear that I would never want to listen throughout our life that मेरी वजह से तेरा career गया.
So true.
So I really appreciate that it was my decision, my choice to quit my job and join him there. But again, since I had always been working right from my college days, I could not really, just be at home and not do anything much there at that point in time. So I enrolled myself in Oriflame. It's a Swedish cosmetic company, and within 3 months, I was a senior manager, qualified for a Kathmandu contest. So again, satisfying my urge of doing some work as well as being at home around him. So and later on, I also mentored expecting mothers and mothers who had kids between 0 to 4 to help them to develop the right side of their brain, as in to work with their photographic memory, which would help them enhance their intelligence. When I had a child and she started going to school, I joined a school with her.
Wonderful.
Okay. Post which, around 8 years back, we shifted to Surat, and that is when people started noticing Charvi with books everywhere and asking me, how is it so that in today's digital era, your child is always seen with a book? And that's how the journey of Readers Adda began around 7 years back.
A powerful story.
So that's
How
how
old
the
is
journey has
Charvi
been.
now?
Sorry?
How old is Charvi now?
Oh, Charvi is 15 now and in grade 10.
Is she still as passionate about books?
Talking about that, Charvi went ahead and created a world record for being the youngest to read maximum books by reading over 3,000 books when she was just 10. So, my love for books definitely translated into her passion for reading because since her early childhood days, I used to read out a lot to her, have a lot of books spread across. My bedside had books, the center table had books, her toy room had books. So wherever she would lay her hands, she would find books there. So books were her playmates.
Wow, so beautiful.
So and she still reads. Like even today, if she's studying and she wants a break, then she'll say, "Mama, I'll read a little." Okay, and that little would mean around 120, 150 pages.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So yes, I would say that she's read many more books than what I would have read until now, and her passion is still intact.
Still intact. Kudos
Yeah.
to you and to Charvi to continue to live your passions. Um, so, Jyoti, I'm going to now move into a section that I love to call this or that.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two options and you
Mhm.
select one in like
Okay.
a split second. Yeah, you won't have much time. Quickly.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you why this or why that. But however, if you feel very passionate about explaining to our listeners why you selected a particular option, feel free. Yeah.
Sure.
Fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
Beach retreat with a book or a mountain getaway with a journal?
Beach retreat with a book.
Hmm. Corporate Jyoti or entrepreneur Jyoti?
Entrepreneur Jyoti.
I would have guessed that. Okay. Coffee with a classic or chai with a children's book?
Chai with a children's book.
Oh, wonderful. Reading on Kindle or reading hardcover paper book?
Hardcover.
Wonderful. Early morning reading or bedtime stories?
Early morning reading.
Wow. Did you tell stories to Charvi at night?
I told her stories in the morning, at night,
All,
during the day. Yes.
all the time.
Throughout
Wonderful.
the time.
For you, telling stories or listening to one?
Now telling stories.
Hmm. Inspiring a child to read or coaching a parent to support the reading habit.
Inspiring a child to read.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for being such a sport, Jyoti.
Thank you.
Let's move on with a few more slightly serious questions. Um, Leadership and personal growth often come with challenges, and we've just seen your profile with uh, such a huge variety of things that you've done. I'm sure you've had your share of hurdles. So, would you be kind enough to share what were some of your biggest hurdles and how did you overcome them in this journey that you've had so far?
One of the main hurdles was relocating every 1.5 to 2 years time.
Mhm.
Okay, so with every promotion and every transfer or every new job change that Rohit took, at a later stage, I decided to move along with him. And whether to give in and just be a homemaker and not being happy about it, if you're happy with it, nothing like it. Or just following your corporate career and leaving out on your marital social life that you would want to have with your family. So these are always choices that, especially females have to encounter or make. So I think somewhere down the line, I learned to balance between these things without being rigid about the path ki यही मिलेगा तो करूंगी टेलीकॉम में ही मिला तो करूंगी. So I was open. I was open to learning. I was open to opportunities. Okay, I was willing to give more than what was expected out of me in every role. So I think when you have that sort of an attitude, you are able to balance between both the things.
You know,
Especially, I
open
have,
opportunities and try things out.
yeah,
Hmm.
especially when you have children, when you have young children. I've seen educated females taking a back seat after having kids. What I did was I started selling kurtis and saris from home when Charlie was very young because I wanted to do something. And sales had always given me a kick.
Yeah.
Okay, if you enjoy selling, it doesn't matter what you
What?
are selling.
Yeah.
So the skills are, you keep sharpening. So we've also seen that women, after having children, go into this phase where they're taking a break, and at times it stays forever. It's again difficult to regain that confidence and move back to your journey. So what I did when Charvi was very young, I started selling saris and kurtis from home. Okay. Again, I always had this urge of sales and I enjoyed doing that. So till the time it was that it didn't matter what I was selling. Okay. But it kept me sharp in a way, like sharpening my skills and all. And then when she started going to a school, I joined a school. Though I went in interviewing for a KG class, they offered me grade 3. And within a week of joining, I was taking language and literature classes in the higher grades.
Wonderful.
Okay. And that has been my best learning journey throughout. Okay. So again in that school, what I did was we had this dear time, okay, drop everything and read moments.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
wherein,
Drop
yeah, so
everything and
wherein
read your
read,
time.
dear time, yeah.
Brilliant, huh?
So post brunch, we were all supposed to sit for 20 minutes and read, be it the principal or the staff members, teachers, students, everybody on the campus would read.
Hmm.
It was thoroughly followed. And what I observed was that there were a few children who were reluctant readers, so they would purposely return a little later,
Hmm.
okay, and would sit outside the class. So I remember passing them books from the window. Padho.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, bahar baitho, bahar baith ke padho.
Huh.
And then I had created a class library asking children to get the books that they've already read or would not bother if somebody else would take it. And we had a small class library. So I think, again, at that point, it might have had little impact, but connecting it back to where it has led me today.
Hmm.
Today, I have a collection of over 20,000 books of myself.
20,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you keep them?
I have a separate space, a library set up.
Obviously.
Yeah. So, these moments which could have been difficult at that point in time, Now, after a certain time, when you look back at those moments, you feel that it was just taking you towards where you really wanted to be. And children are never roadblocks for us. They don't stop us from achieving greatness or doing the stuff that we want to do. They actually push us to do better. And when they observe us, especially mothers doing these things, they also become well grounded children.
I can vouch for that, and that story someday later. Let's stay with Jyoti today. Besides your career, Jyoti, what other life experiences have had a very profound impact on your career, on your life, and who you are today?
This story goes back to when I had just cleared my 10th exams, board exams, and there were interns required for Indian Express newspaper. Okay. And as I have mentioned earlier, that I used to be an introvert, a very shy kind of a child. I went there as an intern, and we were supposed to sell subscriptions across the townships, okay, for 6 months' time. That was my first encounter with sales, okay. And I was accompanying the area manager. I saw him make a sale. I just followed it, and I was a star performer of that month.
Wow.
Okay. So that has had a profound impact in my life.
Mhm.
That introduced me to the real me,
So
which
beautiful.
was probably hidden somewhere. Okay. Which I did not realize earlier.
Hmm.
When I met my childhood friend after a couple of years,
Hmm.
and we were just having a conversation, and she was like, "My God, Jyoti, I have never heard you speaking so much in the last 15 years that we were together."
Awesome.
So that sort of an impact that 1 month's internship has made on me.
Wow. Wow. Since we are talking about people who've guided, mentored, coached you, who has been your biggest influence or mentor on your journey?
I would like to mention two of them. One is my mother, and second, my daughter.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So my mother, she studied only till grade 4.
Hmm.
However, what I've seen of her is constantly being in the company of books, reading, preparing wonderful dishes. And after the age of 40, she learned to ride a bike. Okay. She did some courses in beauty. And at one point, she was running 3 salons.
So awesome. All this after the age of 40.
All this after the age of 40. Okay. So when we say, when we look at the word impossible, she's the one who taught me that it means I am possible. Okay. There is nothing impossible in this world if you set your mind and heart to. And another motivator, greatest motivator is Charvi. Though in a different form, she often keeps challenging me. Okay, so I'll like to share this instance when we were returning from somewhere, and all of a sudden she's laughing at me. I said, "What happened, Charvi? Why are you laughing?" मम्मा मैं ये सोच के हंस रही हूँ कि जब हम मालदीव्स जाएंगे पापा एंड आई आर गोइंग टू एंजॉय देयर एंड यू विल बी सिटिंग नो सिटिंग aside. आप कैसे साइड पे डर के बैठे होंगे. Okay, now since my childhood days, I had never taken swimming lessons या कभी पानी में मैं गई नहीं समझ लो. ठीक है. So in the previous trips, what I used to do is ये लोग हमेशा पूल में होते थे ना. I'd sit aside. My husband would call me, ज्योति आजा पाँव तो गीले कर ले, but I would not even do that. Okay. हाँ. So recalling all of that, this girl was laughing at me. And I said, यार ये पौने 8 साल का बच्चा अगर ये बोल गया तो I can't let that happen. Okay. So
One.
I took swimming lessons, and then when we went to Maldives, I was the first one to go 12 meters deep. Though scuba doesn't require swimming lessons and all, you need not know swimming for it. But I was afraid of water itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she helped me break this phobia. Apart from that, I was always afraid of the dark. I don't know, since my childhood days, I would fear darkness. Darkness within the house. बाहर रास्ते पे मैं 2-4 बजे तक भटक के घर पे आ जाऊंगी, मेरे को कोई डर नहीं है. But within the house, I was scared. I remember, taking my mother whenever I visited the loo, and I continued doing that after my marriage with my husband as well. Okay, it was only after I gave birth to Charvi, मेरा वो fear निकल गया है. So she has been instrumental in making me do things, overcome my fears. So वो दिन उसका 7.25 साल की थी तब, आज वो 15 साल की है तब. I
हाँ,
do not say no to anything.
more
Any
power.
adventure sport, anything, let it just come on. I don't say no to things.
Wonderful.
I cannot allow her to see me that way.
Yeah, a scared and
Yeah,
skeptical mom, definitely not. That's not the picture we want to paint for
yes.
our daughters. Just an observation here, Jyoti, which ties in very beautifully with the next set of questions I'm going to ask you. Both your mentors or influencers are women.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And it just so resonates with the book that we've co-authored, Women Mavericks, that we are 9 women who dared to share our story. We've dared to be vulnerable. We've dared to be, share with the world not just what we've encountered, but also how we've succeeded and how we've, shined out for the world brilliantly. So, a couple of questions around the book. Why did you decide to write the book?
Again, it was because of Charvi.
Hmm.
Okay, my inspiration and motivation both. Now, since she had read a lot of books, I wanted her to start writing something. Okay. Now she's good with articles and all. She keeps writing articles, poems, and stuff like that. But I wanted her to write a book. And I just could not see that eagerness in her to do it.
Hmm.
What is the best way to, get your child to do something by doing it yourself?
Yeah, yeah. They will,
Okay.
they will see that
Yes.
there's a possibility. Yeah, so
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. So that was it. That was my greatest motivation and inspiration behind it. So that was one of the reasons. And the second one was whenever I saw small instances happening, I would just pen it down. So whenever some instances happen, I'd write it down. So during one such time, I received a call on the intercom saying, "Mama, बारिश आ रही तो मैं थोड़ा सा खेल लूं?"
Hmm.
And I was like, "ठीक है, खेल के आना, but टाइम से आ जाना ऊपर." And then after a while, I again called back at the reception and I asked कि सामने बच्ची दिख रही है खेलती हुई. तो बोले बच्ची और उसका भाई है. ऐसा उसका कोई भाई नहीं है, जो सोसाइटी का कोई बच्चा होगा खेल रही होगी. ठीक है, उसको बोलना कि 10 मिनट में ऊपर आ जाए. After a while, Charvi walks in and she's dry from head to toe.
हाँ,
I was like, बच्चे आप नीचे खेले नहीं? नहीं मम्मा, मैं तो जस्ट अभी आ रही हूँ वैन में से. बारिश थी तो हम लोग अंदर ही बैठे थे, मैं बस अभी आ रही हूँ.
हाँ,
So this was a classic example of wrong number. कोई बच्चा जो खेलना चाह रहा है नीचे,
हाँ,
वो एक रॉन्ग नंबर डायल कर रहा है.
okay.
ओके. एंड आई लव प्लेइंग इन द रेन्स.
हाँ,
तो मैं उसको परमिशन दे रही हूँ तो खेल ले
एकदम।
करके.
अब वो बेचारी को डांट पड़ेगी।
सो ये चीज को भी मैंने कहीं पे आई हैव जॉटेड इट डाउन इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ स्टोरी कहीं. ओके. कहीं सड़क पे हम जाते हैं एंड आई ऑफन वुड हियर सम लेडी सेइंग, "बिन दुपट्टो साचवी ले जाओ." विच मीन्स अपना दुपट्टा संभाल लो.
हाँ,
फंस सकता है व्हीकल में, आप गिर सकते हो. So by nature, human beings like to help.
yeah,
उसको कोई लेना देना नहीं है मैं गिर रही हूँ या क्या हो रहा है.
correct, correct.
राइट. सो इवन ऐसा कुछ होता है ना तो आई एम इंस्पायर्ड टू राइट समथिंग अबाउट इट.
Hmm.
So
One,
probably, when this opportunity came across,
Mhm.
I grabbed it with both my hands.
Wonderful, so wonderful. Is Charvi now motivated enough to write her own book?
Right now, she's in a grade 10. I don't
We'll give
see
her
that
her
happening.
grace.
Her current motivation is crocheting. Okay, she's busy making bags and currently she's making a shawl out of it. So she is involved in a lot many other activities as well. But
I'm
maybe someday.
sure she will write a book one day because she's read so much.
Yes, yes.
Coming back to the book, what was the most rewarding part of writing this book and what was the most challenging part of it?
See, writing a book and especially about your journey requires you to think back in time.
Yeah.
Think about your life defining moments. Think about the people who've been a part of your journey.
Yeah.
Okay, so today when I mention my uncle, who used to buy a lot of books and I went there and read, or my dad buying books for me from the station, or that teacher, economics teacher,
Mm.
or the dance teacher. So there's so many people who would have played some or the other role in your life in shaping you as you are today.
Yeah.
So I have a deep sense of gratefulness over here, a gratitude for them that they have always been there, supported, encouraged, pushed me to be who I am today.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Because there are very few opportunities when we actually sit back and reflect like this. So, writing a book, I think, is a way of reflecting.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I don't think before writing the book, I could have told my story of becoming an entrepreneur so beautifully. That the whole process makes you think and reflect what happened
Yes,
and why did I say that?
yes,
You know, you write something, you leave it, you open it the next day again. Oh, I missed this. Oh, I don't think I need to add this. So much of thought goes behind
yes,
right.
yes.
So
That too. And I also came to this reflection that children, especially in my case, Charvi, she is the one, like, if somebody else had to look into the journey, they would say, okay, Jyoti is working, so the child might be neglected, this and that. No, that has never been the case. Even when I set up Readers Adda, my timings were such that after she returned from school, I would get her with me to the center.
wonderful.
Okay. So she's never been a roadblock. Rather, I thought with her in mind, okay, and did things wherein I could cater to her needs as well as mine without compromising on either.
So awesome. So awesome. Wonderful. One last question on the book. Yeah. There are so many people who get trapped in that writer's block. How do I start
Correct.
writing? How do I, writing a book? It seems like a very big, humongous task. So for
Hmm.
all these aspiring authors, what would your guidance be for, the time when they want to write and publish their first book?
Whenever they are into this process, I feel that they should just begin from where they are and
Just
just
begin.
start penning down. That's the first thing. You can then sequence them, arrange them better, gather more facts.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that part later, but just begin. Just start putting it on paper. That's the best way. And other is the way that we have chosen to co-author a book. Probably
Yeah.
at that moment, you might not have as much content or the confidence to write an entire book by yourself. This is a great way of starting too, where many of the authors are coming together and penning down one single book with guided, which is again guided.
Yeah. Yeah. So do we see another book from Jyoti coming out anytime soon?
Quite possible. I'm working on two books.
Already two. Wonderful.
Yeah. There's this one challenge that I faced while writing this book, and that was that the discipline to sit down every day or give that time every day, make it your priority and write. So then there's a backlog, but again, when you have deadlines to follow, it is ensured that you'll complete it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, Jyoti, I'm going to put some spotlight on you, ask some fun questions. Again, don't think too much. There is no right
Okay.
or wrong, and let's
Okay.
see how this goes. Yeah.
Sure.
If you could be a character from a children's book for a
Huh.
day, who would you be and why?
That is such a difficult question for me to answer because there are so many characters. Okay. I would like to be Cinderella because I recently bought a small silver charm which has this carriage. Okay, the pumpkin turned into a carriage. So I would like to witness that magical moment, the rags to riches story. You have a fairy godmother who changes you entirely, and then that is your evening, your limelight.
Oh, so
I
beautiful.
would
So
want
beautiful.
to go back in time at that moment There's one more character I really adore. That's the Cheshire Cat from Alice in
Alice in
Wonderland.
Wonderland, yes.
Yeah, so today I'm wearing a charm. That's a Cheshire Cat charm.
Oh, so your accessories are also books related. Ah,
Yeah. So, as Einstein mentioned, that if you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales and more fairy tales. Okay. So, yeah, we've all grown up listening to those stories, and that culture is dying these days, and that's pathetic. So, going back to your children did not read thick books at the very beginning. That's not necessary. But
they
even
need
these
to
small,
enjoy reading. Books
yeah,
and
that's
novels can come in later. Once
it.
they start to fall in love with reading, I think then there's no stopping.
Sure.
Lovely. What's the weirdest or the most unexpected place where you've read a book? You can't repeat the economics class in Shakespeare. That is something beyond that.
I think that. Oh, if you would have asked this question in the earlier days, probably this might have sounded weird,
Uh,
but no more in today's times if I say that on the loop.
yeah, so true, so true. I
Yeah.
have a small story. I was an avid reader too. And my mom would say, finish your studies and then read a book. And like you, if I've started a novel and I can't finish it, I can't put it down. It's a horrible thing. So I kept my novel on the flush of those olden days.
Okay.
Pull in a chain, I kept it on that one. And I used to spend an hour in the loo doing exactly what we're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Just to ensure that my mom thinks I'm still in the loo, I flushed it. And without realizing that the lid goes down, my
Oh my God. Okay.
little book, it went inside the flush. And then, of course, she caught me because I had to pay the fine, right? Now the book is all
Definitely. Yeah.
that they will not take it back.
Yes.
So, yeah, I know those moments of reading books in the washroom. All right. If you had a superpower related to reading or storytelling, what
Mhm.
what would that superpower look like?
The superpower would be that when I am telling a story or reading out a story, it should go in the other person's brain exactly as I am saying it. Because generally, what happens with reading is when you read, every person might take the story differently.
Yeah,
That's the beauty about reading.
absolutely.
That's the beauty about reading. But then I would have my way if I had this superpower.
You would want them to understand the way you are trying to narrate the story. Brilliant.
Because many a times we pick up a story, a parent has come asking for help, that there's some behavioral issue in the child, and stories are best way to help in such cases. Okay, so that day's story would be something related to that without really putting it across to the child that way. It would be a little more generic, but again, you will address the issue there in that story. So now you have an idea of what you are doing, probably the child doesn't have. Okay, so if I had a superpower to give it to the child the way I want that message, that would have been wonderful.
So beautiful. Which fictional character would you love to invite for chai, coffee? With
Okay, I have always been a fan of Khalid Hosseini books. Okay,
oh, all right.
yeah, so the character from the Kite Runner.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, so I'd like to invite him
And
and listen to his side of the story, the way he has felt it.
interpretations of the story seems to be very important for you.
I have always loved reading fiction, but today I have more of self-help and non-fiction books on my shelves. So it would say that that phase is changing a little now, more towards self-grooming and self-growth
Hmm.
is where I'm moving towards.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Thank you for being such a sport and answering these wacky questions. Um, So, as an expert in your field, Jyoti, what recommendations would you have for parents who are trying to instill this habit of reading in their children, given that, parents have no choice today but to hand a phone because teachers are communicating with children on phone, assignments are being sent on phone. So parents don't have that luxury to say, okay, no phone until you're 16. That
Mm-hmm.
can't do.
Mm.
When we ourselves are giving mobile phones and getting them introduced to the digital world much earlier than we would want to, how do you instill this habit of reading?
In the first place, parents should not start expecting magical results the very first time they hand over a book.
Yeah.
Okay, they need to have patience.
Mm.
Okay, what I usually see is parents would have bought a few books for the child, and next time when the child wants more books, the parent would say, first you complete the books that you've taken previously. Probably the child has gone through the books and it's over now. So they would need more resources. Okay, because you are helping your child to gain a habit which is capable of transforming his or her life.
Okay.
Okay, this is a life changing habit. So give it time, one book at a time. Okay, and don't always associate it or have an end goal for it. At times, let it just be for pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not necessary that always after reading a story, the child has to tell you what was the story about. No, then it becomes like a test. And that is what nobody enjoys doing.
He enjoys, and then you're robbing the child of the pleasure of reading just because
Yeah,
focused on
yeah. So that
memorizing.
idea of reading for pleasure is missing. So if you just allow your child to be with the books, the child will pick up the books and read. Okay, if the child is more digitally inclined, book in whatever form is okay. Till the time the child is reading, it's okay.
Yeah.
So if your child has a Kindle, help the child to pick up the kind of books that he would like to read.
Hmm.
That's okay.
Very interesting perspective. What would you have to say about half-read books?
Now, before you really decide whether you want to continue with the book or not, give that book a chance. Go through at least 3 chapters
Yeah.
before you decide whether you're liking it or not.
Mhm.
And even after reading 3 chapters, you feel that no, it's not for you. It's boring. You will not be able to get through.
Yeah.
Just put it aside and pick the one that you like.
And it's okay for a kid's bookshelf to have several half-finished books.
And that's perfectly fine because when you look at the same book at different phases of your life, the book will be a different book altogether. That even applies to the books that we've read completely. If I pick the same book at different moments of my life, I might perceive it completely, totally differently.
So true, so true. Um, you know, um, I was not a history student. I never liked history because we were always told to memorize dates and
Right,
timelines,
right,
and it never interested me. But today, I am a big fan of all the historical retellings. And because I don't have to tell anybody the dates,
right.
I'm reading it for the pleasure of the story.
True,
That
true.
it didn't interest me in all my books to be half read, but now it is so much more uh, interesting to me. Wonderful.
Yeah, so half-read stories are okay. Rereading the stories is okay. Till the time the child is picking up a book in any way, any form, it is okay.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Since we are talking about parents, Jyoti, what are some of the simple yet effective things that parents can do at home to build that habit of reading and making it an enjoyable activity for the child?
See, now children generally do not do what they are asked to do. They do what they see you doing.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for that, parents themselves need to become the first role models for their kids. This is not going to come from schools or any other activity classes per se. The first place for the child is home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even if parents could get into a routine of reading for 20 minutes every single day, that could be good quality time that they are spending with the books at home with the children. Okay. So it could be read aloud sessions where the parents are reading out and the children are listening to it.
Hmm.
Or if children can read by themselves, all of them could read different books as per their
Correct.
liking. Somebody would be reading, the father would be reading a magazine, the mother could be reading a fictional book or non-fiction, whatever, and the child could be reading age-appropriate books.
Hmm.
Spreading books across the house really helps.
Hmm.
Really helps. बच्चे का हाथ जहाँ जा रहा है. Today's scenario, there are more mobile phones than books in a house,
So true.
right? So जिस जो देख रहा है बच्चा, जहाँ पे हाथ जा रहा है, जो हाथ में आ रहा है, बच्चा उठा रहा है. So when we know that, why not spread books?
Yeah.
And let the child explore different genre. You never know what the child will really pick finally. But till that time, you need to give an exposure of different sort of books to the child.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm sure a number of parents who are going to listen to this are now bubbling with ideas in terms of how to make their homes and places where children spend more time, more book friendly rather than digital friendly. Yeah.
These are some of the simplest ways, and this has worked beautifully well for me with Charvi. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I did.
And I can so easily relate to so many homes where I've seen that uh, there are books, but adult books kept high that the child can't reach it and tear. So there are no books that the child can touch and feel and read. No, but there are lots of toys, cupboards and cupboards of toys and cupboards of, you know, things to do,
Yeah, yeah.
not read. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons. Recently, I received a call from a parent, and she was looking at enrolling her child at my place. And I asked her, "What's the basic
Reason. Huh?
reason? Why do you want to enroll your child with us?" And she said, "Mom, वो एक जगह बैठ नहीं सकता." ओके, तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि वो grade 1 में जाए, तब तक एटलीस्ट उसको एक जगह बैठना या फोकस करना आ जाए. A totally different perspective for enrolling a child to the reading class.
Yeah.
Usually, a parent would want the child to be with the book or learn how to read.
Yeah.
But यहाँ पे अलग पूरा perspective ही different था. And yes, reading helps in that as well.
It does. Because the stimulation around for the child is all do something, play
Yes,
something, make
yes,
something, stand up, sit down,
true,
eat
true.
ladder, this, that. So it's always about doing. So we are not teaching the child to calm down, settle, focus, and then we blame the child के पढ़ नहीं पाता मेरा बच्चा 15 मिनट भी नहीं बैठ के पढ़ सकता. So
और दूसरा, कहीं पे सोशल सेटअप में जाते हैं, बच्चा बोर हो रहा है, पेरेंट को परेशान कर रहा है.
yeah.
Huh? I've never had such moments with Charvi. Rarely, I'd say, because wherever she goes, she carries a book with her. Okay, so it doesn't mean that she's alienated, but सबके साथ ठीक है, बात कर ली, सब हो गया अपना, then you'll find her in a corner with a book. अगर book के 25 pages बचे, she'll carry one more, so
Hmm.
that she never runs out of
Runs
content
out
for
of
her to read.
books. Wonderful, wonderful. Since we are already talking about the benefits of cultivating a very strong reading habit, apart from the couple that you've mentioned, anything else that comes to your mind?
See, knowledge is for sure that the child is gaining by reading. Okay, but it also helps in building upon the imagination and creativity of a child. Okay, while most of the children today are enrolled in English medium schools, at home we speak our mother tongues. Okay, so English comes as a second language for us. How will the child develop that language? So either by listening to it constantly or by reading.
Yeah.
So listening part is restricted at many places. इतना ज़्यादा नहीं. Like I am in Gujarat, तो यहाँ पे इतना ज़्यादा English में बोलने का culture नहीं है. Okay,
Totally
so
right. Yeah.
so what would these children do? If they are reading a lot, if they get into the groove of reading, definitely their vocabulary would be better. They would start thinking in English. Ideas आएंगे. So
Yeah.
there are parents who would like to see the child on the stage. But on the stage and doing what? वही 4 lines रटी हुई है जो बच्चा जाके स्टेज पे बोल रहा है. उसकी जगह पे इफ द चाइल्ड कैन स्पीक इम्प्रॉम्प्ट, अगर उसको कुछ बोला हुआ है, कोई टॉपिक दे दो आप, and बच्चा अपने आप से बोल सके, सो वोकैबुलरी भी यहाँ से डेवलप हो रही है, कॉन्फिडेंस भी बूस्ट हो रहा है. इट ऑल्सो एनहांसेस देयर स्पीकिंग एंड राइटिंग स्किल्स एज वेल.
Hmm.
Because for speaking and writing, you need confidence, you need vocabulary, you need ideas. How are you going to develop upon an idea? So that ways I feel, and even it makes children more empathetic in today's times when we are all set up in nuclear setups.
Hmm.
हाँ, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये थोड़ा सा एम्पथाइज करने वाली चीजें डिक्लाइन हो रही हैं. बट व्हेन यू रीड, you start understanding that character's motives,
Hmm.
why he or she is doing a certain thing. And that's how the child associates and empathizes with the main character of the story. जो चीज वो रीड करते वक्त कर रहा है, when he goes out in real life, he's bound to do the same with the
Abs-
real life characters as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So there are a lot of things that reading, really helps in.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Um, Thank you, Jyoti, for sharing so much with so much honesty and transparency and making it simple for so many parents. A tough thing that they're facing today in terms of building a habit. One last question before we wrap up our podcast. What next for you? What next for Readers Hadda? What exciting projects are for Jyoti on the horizon?
Okay, now since we've been operating Readers Adda for over 7 years,
7.
uh, 7 years, and I've got these two centers at Pal and Vesu in Surat,
Mhm.
and we're doing beautifully well. I get enrollments just by word of mouth. That's the only way parents enroll their children with us. So we've seen a lot of development and growth in these children who've been coming to us, and the success story is that there are parents who are associated for over 6 years as well, wherein one of their children would have joined us, and they were with us for 3 to 4 years, and now the younger sibling has joined or uska second year chal raha hai, right? So all of this inspires and motivates us to reach out to more places, right? Now, since I cannot be at all these places, we have planned up a franchise route. So the franchise deck is now ready, and we want to go ahead pan India. May we want to open up Readers Adda's franchises.
More
So
power to you. I'm
we're
looking
looking at
forward to Readers Adda
connecting with.
coming to Bangalore.
Sure. So we're looking at connecting with educated females who probably have taken a backseat in their careers, or who want to start a journey of their own, have got young kids, तो उनको संभालते हुए साथ में करना है, because there's absolutely no load in this thing. Okay, you come to the center, बच्चे जो आए हैं उनको आपने reading sessions दिए, and then you go home. You're not carrying back anything home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how beautiful this entire thing is. And apart from this, we also have our doorstep library services going on. As I mentioned, I've got a lot of books here. So both these things would be offered to the franchisees as well.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. Wishing you and Readers Adda phenomenal growth across the country. Why just across the country, across the globe, possibly.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
And
Shanti.
wonderful. It was a wonderful time talking with you, Jyoti, and seeing uh, Charvi bloom into such an avid reader and how you've supported her. I'm sure a lot of parents will find those avenues to, nurture the habit of reading in their children. Thank you so much for the share.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.